Caleb has spoken. Ben Johnson talking. We've got locker room stuff for you. Where else would you rather be for the next, call it 78 minutes? Stick it right here. The CHGO Bears Podcast.
5 days away.
Greg! We start now. Chad is already telling me it's 32 hours to football, Cowboys and Eagles. I don't even care about that. I'm thinking about Monday night. This is the CHGO Bears Podcast. We are presented proudly by our friends at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use that code CHGO365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it is never ordinary at Bet365. Gregory, good to see you. This is your handy-dandy middle of the week CHGO Bears Podcast. I honestly am starting to feel like a game day heat running through me here with Ben Johnson talking with Caleb.
What that is?
Yeah, it's game day heat. That's right. You got a problem with that, Gregory?
Sure your back's just not flaring up?
No, everything's flaring up. My ankle's flaring up. I mean, don't get me sidetracked here because I'll start talking about how I'm making my return to the tennis court tonight in the Deer Creek League, and that's not good for anybody. No one wants to hear that. Hoge is at Halas Hall today. He's going to be with us in about 5 minutes. We've got Caleb video for you. We got Ben Johnson, audio and video for you, all the things. We're going to hear from Kmet. We're going to hear from Jaquan Brisker. This is going to be a hot show for you today. As per always, thank you to everybody who has already subscribed and become a diehard and all the things. But if you are new to the channel right now, please hit that subscribe button as we make our way towards 90,000 on YouTube. Hopefully have 100,000 by the time the Bears are 3-0. And turn those notifications on. CHGO Bears with you Monday through Friday. Times have moving around a little bit here, but this week, 1 o'clock. So thank you. Hit that subscribe button. Also, shout out to our friends at Big Brothers, Big Sisters. This month, we are honoring them, and I have become a Big Brother, which is I can't wait to really get involved and talk about all the benefits of it. But it's an opportunity to give back if you have the time to do it. Met my little over the weekend, and he's going to become the next great star at the U.S. Open, if not. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he can play for the Bears someday.
That's great. It's a good cause, and that's big of you to jump in on there. So, yes, if you're watching on YouTube, you can donate directly by hitting the donation button at the bottom of your screen, normally where the Super Chat button is. Now, just donate here to Big Brothers and Big Sisters. And if you have a comment that you want highlighted after your donation, Steven will make sure to star that, and we'll still read your comment regardless. And if you're listening on the podcast, please head to bbbs.org/ALLCITY, and let's help ignite the potential of the next generation. Appreciate you guys. Again, that's bbbs.org/ALLCITY. Appreciate every single one of you.
Yeah, we had the CEO Jeremy in here yesterday. Hope people enjoyed that conversation. I really appreciate the partnership with Big Brothers, Big Sisters. All right, we're going to head out, to Halas Hall, and we start our visit today with our QB report, which is brought to you by RC Cola. Not just a soft drink, just a damn good cola. Not just a host, just a damn good reporter. Look at him, Adam Hoge. What is he in, like the green room out there? Look at the background for Hoge today. I've never seen him look this professional. I don't even know what to do with this. What's up, Hoger?
That color is black. It's not green, just like my All-City quarter zip here representing. I have hijacked the NFL Network built-in studio here for the moment, so we'll see if I get thrown out or not.
That's a smart move. That's a smart move.
You got to know people. Hoge's been, what is this, year 14 for you, year 15? What is it? Remind me when you first started covering this.
Year 15. Year 15.
Year 15. Yeah. All right, hey, I'm going to let you lead us through here because you were out there and there was a ton going on. Ben talking and then Caleb, and I thought the energy was great and the partnership between the two was, I thought, really underlined. But where do you want to start here?
Yeah, let's talk about Caleb. Let's start. I want to hear from Caleb first. I'm really curious to hear see, hear, whatever. Hopefully it's a Monday night game, so the microphone should be nice and hot down there on the field.
I am being, not to interrupt you, but I am being instructed strongly by Steven to start with Ben first, because because Ben is ready.
We're a little behind on the video in general.
So
we'll skip the video for now, Hoge.
Well, or we can, but let's just go back to the head coach, because he's the head coach. I think that makes a whole lot of sense, don't you, Gregory?
Whatever you guys want. I'm just going to shut up and make sure everything goes smooth without derailing things.
Yeah, you being quiet is good for the show today. Not most days, because you're brilliant, but today is good. Go ahead, Hoger.
I'm sorry. Now I have to clarify, because that was confusing to me. Do we have Ben Johnson yet or no?
Oh, we don't have Ben. Okay.
Okay, so we have no video right now. Gotcha. Okay. I can filibuster. It's all good. Look, let me start with this then. Let's shift gears for a second, because I find it really interesting the number situation that's going on here. So totally shift gears away from the quarterback for a second while we stall. Luther Burden ended up with number 10.
See, that's messed up, because my guy, Tyler Scott, who is now a proud Indianapolis Colt on their practice squad, he wore that number, and the second he's out the door, bang, bang, just you don't even wait to bury your dead, and all of a sudden you're moving on. Where's the respect 100%. For my – okay, I know that's not how it works.
Okay, so Maurice Alexander, I'll do more digging on this, and hopefully we'll get better answers soon. But so Maurice Alexander was cut. He was wearing 13 in training camp. He was waived and then signed in the practice squad. So he's still around, but for 24 hours there he wasn't, and it seemed like Luther Burden was going to be taking number 13. So somehow he commandeered 13 back, and Luther Burden will wear number 10. And all of that, Jade Walker is wearing 20, which I went over to him in the locker room today. I'm like, so you're sticking with 20, huh? And he was like, yeah, I kind of had to. And I was like, wait, so they make you? And he's like, no, what happened is my family bought all these 20 jerseys, so I'm just going to wear number 20 so they can keep, they have to buy more jerseys. So, yeah.
A family man. That's interesting. That's interesting. See, so it goes to show you, chat, like we're all trying to figure out the reasoning of why these players pick their numbers, but that's pretty epic right there.
Well, and I just think you really just did this report, let's be honest, for Gary Ross, who is the most interested person in the numbers that anybody in the history of the chat. He loves the numbers.
Well, I am surprised that Luther Burden had 13 and then went to 10. When his number was 3 in college, I would have just assumed he was going to stay at 13. So,
but according to Hoge, Alexander wanted it back and he had it first. It sounds like a fight between brothers right there.
I don't know how all these things get determined, but he had it. He was still technically on the team. If it's the practice squad, you could argue the second round pick deserves to have his number, but he's a rookie. Alexander's not. Alexander was also with Ben Johnson in Detroit, so there's some credibility, or I don't know, seniority there, I guess you put it. I don't know all the reasons. I also, believe it or not, like Gary, find it very interesting. But I just hope that we're done with the the snip snap. We can all just let's figure out these numbers so I don't have to keep updating my laminated chart every 5 seconds. Thank you.
That is the most important part of this. That lamination. Yeah. I mean, this hard work and enough. Quit putting stuff on Hoge's plate. Go ahead.
Well, let me ask you this, Hoge, since we're in the quarterback report. And I made this comment, and, I'm certainly a victim of hyperbole from time to time. But I'll ask you it anyway, because I made the comment to Carm that I felt like this is the best I've felt about this quarterback room in a long time, maybe ever in my Bears fandom life. They still have a lot to prove, but just with Ben Johnson and then Caleb Williams and obviously even Carm's boy Tyson Bagent as the backup.
He's all our guys.
I feel like he's all our guys,
Thank
100%.
You.
But just hearing Caleb today, in your 14, 15 years now covering the team, where does this rank in terms of how confident you feel going into a season about the quarterback position in Chicago?
Yeah, I mean, it's the weird thing is, as bad as the Bears have struggled at quarterback, they've had some years where the room itself, the backup options have been pretty good. I mean, say what you want about Nick Foles, but having Mitch Trubisky, Nick Foles, and then didn't they have Andy Dalton in there at the same time?
Yeah, they had all three.
Yeah,
they had all three.
That's a pretty darn good overall room. And then even Jay Cutler, Josh McCown, having those guys together as the options that you had proved out to be pretty good too. Where I'm going with this though is that's all great. The Bills have Josh Allen, and he starts every single game, and he's an MVP. The Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes, and he starts every single game, and they forget that I forgot Carson Wentz wasn't even there anymore. Now he's in Minnesota. Like, you shouldn't – that's all great that you have a great quarterback room, and I agree that the Bears do. But this is still about Caleb Williams. This is about Caleb Williams turning into a superstar like he's supposed to be, the number 1 overall pick. So I'm glad that they signed Tyson Bagent. I'm glad that they have a good backup. I'm glad the season's not over if something happens to the starter. But if we're going to raise the expectations and the bar here, as Ben Johnson's trying to do inside this very building that I'm sitting in right now, let's go, Caleb. This is Caleb's time. It needs to be better this year. Go out, have a 4,000-yard passing season, get over all the pre-snap stuff, execute the offense, use all these weapons that you have, and that's really what this is all about, starting right away week 1. And I believe we now have Ben Johnson talking about Caleb Williams and where he's at right now going into this first game against the Minnesota Vikings.
How the hell you knew that? But you did. Apparently it must be in Slack, and I didn't say it. But that's correct. We do have Ben Johnson. Let's hear from the Bears head coach.
Yeah, he's so young, and there's a lot he's learning, but he's a sponge right now. I mean, he was up in my office a couple days ago, and we watched a couple games together, and he's just, I mean, the entire time, anything I would say, I see him jotting it down in his notebook, and so that's an encouraging thing right now with where we're at. We're going to grow together. This offense is going to grow together with him, and there'll be some bumpy steps along the way, but that's okay. That's the nature of doing it. But I feel really good about where he's at right now, and there's no reason why we can't win this year.
At the end of the press conference right there, and I thought it was a great way to end it. There's no reason why we can't win this year. So he's being honest. He's also raising the bar at the same time. He's giving you a little behind the scenes. They're in the office. They're watching games. He's taking down notes. I mean, I think all these things are music to Bears fans' ears. And what he said earlier than that we haven't played, which I thought was super interesting, how Caleb does the next 3 days in practice is going to impact what type of game plan, what he's going to call on Monday night. I found that to be really interesting. Did you?
No, because that's what you're supposed to do as a coach. So I'm glad that we've entered this century of coaching. It's good. It's refreshing. It's nice. Not forcing, hey, let's run these plays this week. Uh-oh, they didn't work well in practice. F it. Let's run them anyway. That's not how it's supposed to work. So, yeah, absolutely. And where the genesis of that answer came from, guys, was more so about like the curiosity of what you have here, what you can run, what Caleb can run, what you can call. And trust me that if they're doing this the right way, and I believe they are, they've taken this big, giant textbook of plays, and they've already condensed it down going into this week to this is what we think will work against Brian Flores. Ben Johnson obviously has a good history here of beating Brian Flores and knowing kind of what should work against this defense. And then, okay, let's take it out to the practice field now. Let's run these plays against scout looks. Remember, I brought this up last week, guys. They were not using Viking scout looks in practice last week. That's all starting today. Fully padded practice today, 135 minutes. This is a big practice today. This will determine a lot of what they can and cannot do. And so it really comes down to how does Caleb practice. And Ben also, he told a little story in there too about when he was a high school quarterback. And he's like, they would win and they won a state title and all this stuff, but they run 5 passing plays. And he'd be like, well, why didn't we run more? And it's like, well, because of what you showed that you can handle in practice that week. That's what carries over to the game. That's how it should work. So there's still a lot to be determined today. They're off tomorrow, Friday, Saturday. Then you get in those meeting rooms Saturday night, Sunday as a coaching staff, and that's really that call sheet that you will see Ben holding on the sidelines Monday night. That doesn't get finalized usually until the day before the game. And then there's even he's probably still scribbling stuff on there and crossing things out Monday morning as he continues to process everything.
All right, let's take our first real quick time out here of 2 minutes, and then we're going to come back. We can no, we're not ready for that either. No problem.
No, it's fine.
Want to do one more, Ben? Do one more, Ben? Let's do one more, Ben. Okay, one more from Ben Johnson. Thank you very much. This show is running incredibly smoothly. Don't pay attention to any of the parts where it didn't. One more from Ben Johnson out there today at Halas Hall. And Ben, again, speaking honestly, I think you'll enjoy this.
Shoot, yeah. I mean, I think there's more than that, too. They have Dallas Turner was a first-rounder a year ago that he's going to be coming to his own here year 2. And then I think they really upgraded their interior defensive line as well. I think that gets overlooked a little bit between Jonathan Allen and Hargrave. So, I think the beauty of the defense, once again, I said it yesterday, is they create a lot of one-on-one matchups. And when you have guys that they feel good about winning their one-on-ones, that it puts a lot of stress on our guys. But, I think we know the task at hand. We'll see how practice goes here this week. And, it's hard to have any breather plays this week. It's just the nature of how Flo calls it. And, we got to be locked in if we want to have success against this defense.
As focused as you are on the preparation and planning.
All right, Hoger, what was your take on all that?
The Vikings are good, and the Bears need to block the good guys that are going to try to tackle Caleb and hurt him. No, in all seriousness, I'm glad you brought up Dallas Turner because it's easy to kind of overlook Dallas Turner. Dallas Turner is I'm trying to think of the Bears equivalent. I mean, Roma Dunze did more than Dallas Turner last year, in my opinion, in terms of first-round picks. But, I guess it's like Caleb. Year 1, you could see the talent, but you're really hoping that it takes off. It's a little bit more important, I think, he takes off for the Bears than Dallas Turner for the Vikings. But theoretically, the point is that they should be coming at you with 3 guys. And obviously they're not all going to be on the field unless that's the wrinkle of the week, which is another thing Caleb talked about, that there's with Brian Flores, there's always going to be some wrinkle that he brings in, whether it's week 1 or week 2 or week 18. And so adjusting to that in the middle of the game will be big. But yeah, it's a tough scheme. It's a tough defense. But of all the coordinators in this league and offensive minds that have been able to solve it, Ben Johnson's been the best. So finding that middle ground in this matchup, I think it's an incredibly fascinating, unpredictable week 1 game in my mind. Really? I mean, I keep going both ways on this and how it can go, and it can go a lot of different ways. But I love it as a matchup and storylines to go into the first game of the season.
Well, it's such a chess match between both sides of the coaching, defensively and offensively. And you're right in terms of because of the reputation that precedes each coach, how they're going to chess match each other is impossible to predict who's going to win that chess match because they're all great chess players. So I've kind of made the joke to some fans because you keep hearing about they're going to get the ball. Ben Johnson keeps talking about get the ball out quick, get it into your playmakers' hands. I think we're going to see, Bears fans have a lot of PTSD when it comes to screen passes. And I think that you're going to see a lot of screen passes in this game, but hopefully they're more executed better than the Luke Getsy era. But I have a suspicion fans are going to be like, this is the same Bears because it's going to be a lot of getting it out fast.
Can I give you a nugget on that? I can't remember if I brought this up on the show or off air. But Robert Mays had this in his NFC North preview podcast, so I want to give proper credit. The Lions' EPA per play, so expected points added per play, between 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage and 5 yards in front of the line of scrimmage. So we're talking passing plays at the line of scrimmage. Just think about it that way. Was 105. Okay? The league total was 70. How does that work in the math world? That means the Lions were that much better than every other team in the league at running plays, passing plays at the line of scrimmage. So a lot of those being screens and things like that. That the rest of the league's total dragged far below the Lions. They were just so much better than everybody else. It's an incredible stat that Robert came up with when I heard it. And so, yeah, you might see a lot of plays like that, but hopefully they work better. That's the plan, right? Because you have a lot more dudes that can run them successfully, both in terms of how they run, yards after catch, but also hopefully the blocking, which brings us back to like a Luther Burden, the way he embraced blocking in the preseason.
Yep.
The Ben Johnson advantage, which, by the way, the respect for Ben Johnson around here is just absolutely enormous. There was a poll on who are the best play callers. The NFL bigwigs, they placed Ben ahead of Kevin O'Connell, ahead of Andy Reid. He was third overall. Guy hasn't, obviously he's been doing it as an offensive coordinator, but this is he hasn't even coached one game yet as a head coach. So there's a lot of respect for Ben Johnson out there around the NFL, which is beautiful to hear in a Bears head coach, which
31 NFL coaches and executives voted from The Athletic. Jeff Howe wrote the article. They all had 3 votes apiece. Sean McVay, 25 votes. Kyle Shanahan second with 18 votes. Ben Johnson, 14 votes. Kevin O'Connell, 8 votes. And then Andy Reid,
take that, Kevin O'Connell,
multiple time Super Bowl champion, 7 votes.
Yeah, he sucks. All right, so the might not be the most accurate assessment there, but we'll take it. All right, Hoge, stay right there. We'll get to Caleb in a second. But first, all right, let's be real for a second. The world's got a little soft. Check my Twitter messages today. Listen, everything doesn't need to be bubble wrapped out there. And soda, by the way, used to have some great kick. Now it's kind of about the colors and the easy fizz. No. Let's go old school. RC Cola is not just a soft drink. It's just damn good cola. Straight delicious. It's the original cola. Doesn't fold under pressure. Not going to delete his Twitter. RC, it's an OG cola in a world of spineless soft drinks. No trends, no gimmicks, no glow up. This is the good stuff. RC hasn't changed its stripe since 1905. You know why? Because it didn't need to. It's the same bold, crisp flavor it's always been. RC Cola tastes like a punch in the thirst. Just straight delicious. Do yourself a favor. Grab yourself some RC at a local store. Stock up all your summer end parties here, back to school celebrations, just watching the game Monday night. Bears, come on. RC is the move for whatever you are doing. And shout out to our friends at Circa Sportsbook, whatever the sport, the app to bet on, you know it, Circa Sports Illinois. Betting the way it should be. We love our friends at Circa. Bet on all your favorite teams every game, all season long. Spreads, props, futures, in-game. Circa Sports has it. Fund and bet like a pro from anywhere, anytime in Illinois. Download your new bookie today at circasports.com. You do have to be 21 or older. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Spreads, props, futures, in-game. Take the over on DeAndre Swift for the season. Circa Sports has it for you. Once again, your new bookie today, circasports.com, circasports.com. Listening to myself, I just felt like I had to get myself an RC there. Just so delicious. The original Hoge, right here, 1905. I was 10.
Got to toughen you up with some RC.
Yeah, no, you can have some too. Even though you sound terrible and perhaps you need to drink some orange juice. But all right, hey, Adam, I heard you talk to or part of the Cole Kmet conversation today out there. I think we want to hear from that before we do anything else. So can you tee up the 85, please?
Sure. And I'll start with this. I asked, here, we'll save that for I guess, hopefully we'll still hear from Caleb here. But, so look, Cole Kmet, not named the captain, not voted a captain, but I still think he's going to be an important voice for this team. He's certainly going to represent the offense quite frequently, talking to the media. He did that today. Talked a lot about where just where the trust is in the coaching staff right now, but a lot of interesting stuff in here too about Caleb's development.
I know that he's taking a lot of pride at dialing that in and getting that right. And a lot of coaches will tell you that a lot of snaps are won, before that ball is even snapped. So your pre-snap process is huge, for all of us, but obviously especially at that quarterback position. And I think Caleb's taken a lot of great steps there.
Do you have your own curiosity in how this offense is going to look the first time you get to show it in a regular season game?
Yes and no. I mean, I think I know how we're going to look based on the way we practice, and I think that physicality will for sure show up. Obviously to do it with real and live, and now it really counts. That'll be exciting to see. But I got a lot of confidence and faith in the guys in the locker room and knowing what we've built starting back in April.
Cole, how much better has Caleb gotten at using the cadence as a weapon? You talk about that pre-snap.
Yeah, I think that's something that the coaches have harped on him with, and he's had no choice but to get better, and that's been evident. I felt like my last game up in Kansas City was one of my better games getting off the football, and a lot of that is because of Caleb's cadence and his rhythm, and he's really developed in that regard, and that's a huge advantage for us up front, getting off the football and getting on our blocks when the quarterback's dialed in with a cadence like that.
What's the key to adjusting to the wrinkles that the defense, Vikings defense, throws at you guys mid-game?
Yeah, just sticking to our fundamentals, knowing our rules for every play, making sure we're all on the same page in terms of identification. So that'll be big for all of us, and as long as we're all on the same page in that regard, we should be able to handle it just fine.
Ben was just talking about getting everyone the ball on offense. There are a lot of weapons. Colston added to the mix too. Now that you've had camp to kind of see how the offense shakes out with two primary tight ends. How does it look for you? How does it feel?
Talk about how about the back, how our backs, our receivers, and so you got those guys added to the mix as well. Obviously Ben's done this before on very high level offenses, and the goal is to get 70 plus plays in a game, so we're running a ton of plays, and when you do things like that and you're moving the ball, a lot of different guys will be able to get the ball in their hands. So excited about that, and I know if we all execute all together and on plays that you're not getting the ball, you're blocking, running downfield, it'll all work out for us for sure.
Well, beyond just cadence, where else have you recognized growth from Caleb in the pre-snap process?
Yeah, well, I think identification of defenses and obviously knowing certain areas where to kill, zero looks, those type of deals, and sure there's some growing pains through that in terms of how maybe Ben wants that and how he sees it and seeing it through Ben's eyes, but I think you've seen him really take hold of that, starting the spring up till now, and that's been really cool to see.
With Colston in particular, just now having gone through camp with him, what excites you about getting to play alongside him and how you guys could potentially be used?
Yeah, I love it. Colston's great. It's been getting to know him. It's been a lot of fun. Consider him now a really close friend, and it's been cool to see him grow throughout camp too. Adjusting to the physicality of the NFL is a different beast, but I've been really impressed by how he's handled himself, mainly in the run game and those type of deals and being physical in his routes. So that's been a lot of fun to watch, and I'm excited for him this year.
I love Cole Kmet. Don't you love Cole Kmet?
How about the CHGO mic flag there, too?
Thank you. How is that not the first thing said immediately after that? Thank you, Greg.
Well, and I did see, of course, Gary noticing it in the chat that we have a mic flag. And Hoge, of course, is the official now me guy on the show because Hoge's been driving the mic flag for about 2 years, and now we have a mic flag, and you're really proud of it. Versus I'm just uplifting the great teammate of Cole Kmet. But amazing mic flag, great placement, looks fantastic. We're on a new level. Way to go. I'm proud of you.
Yeah. Do we have Caleb? I'm just curious.
In a minute, we'll have Caleb, but we have Jaquan Brisker. Well,
okay,
listen,
great.
Steven has got 7,000 things going on. I'm going to be a great teammate and protect Steven, who, by the way, congratulations to Steven. I don't know if we should be.
You didn't protect him. You're the only one who brought his name into this. You just bus-tossed him inadvertently while trying to protect him.
Whatever. Steven got a promotion. Steven's like, fine. Steven's just slacking. I don't know what happened. Guy just got promoted, which he deserved, and all of a sudden today, everything just falling apart.
Hey, look at that. Carm's mic just got cut off. Hey, Hoge, we have Caleb ready.
Yes. Okay, so this is where I want to go with this conversation. Thank you, Steven. So in there, buried in some of that conversation with Cole Kmet, the cadence stuff, I think this is incredibly important, guys, because it's been, whether it's the top, maybe not the top storyline with Caleb since he got here, it's part of the storyline. And last year, these were an issue in OTAs. They were an issue in minicamp. They were an issue in training camp. And eventually the Bears just kind of bailed on them. It just wasn't going to be the weapon that they needed it to be. And this has been what Ben Johnson's really been working on. I think it's a big reason why they had some pre-snap problems in training camp too. But you heard Cole say that they got better, and he felt like he was as fast as he's ever been getting off the ball in that Chiefs game. That caught my ear. I asked Caleb today about what he's learned with these cadences, and just basically where they're at, because they need to be dialed in starting Monday night against the Vikings.
As you know, you may have heard sound bites or whatever. Last year, cadence was a little different than obviously this year. So, I think this year it's been awesome. It's been fun to use. Being able to, hearing the other guys on the other side that hear me every single day for the past how many ever months we've been practicing versus our defense, come up to me like, the cadence is getting strong, it's getting better, it's getting harder to decipher what and when the ball is going to be snapped and things like that. So it's, positive feedback from the guys that hear me every single day, and being able to use it as a weapon is really important for us and our team, and, getting those kind of things we call dirty yards in a way is, something as small as a cadence, which is huge and important for us as an offense, but from the defense side, it's something as small as a cadence is getting us some positive yards to be able to help us, either stay on the field or, put us in advantageous positions.
Sounds like a guy in year 2 to me. Go ahead.
Well, I just think it's a lot of talk right now, but obviously we're going to be looking at the left tackle a lot the first 4 weeks in the season. Another thing that I think that they're going to really want to evaluate at that bye week, and we're going to be able to see with our own eyes starting Monday night. Are the Bears false starting, or are the defenses jumping off sides? We've seen both in these preseason games, but that'll be your indicator into how much these are used as a weapon. And, Caleb has talked in the past about how he sees a lot of similarities in his game with Aaron Rodgers. I do too, scouting him. Well, Aaron Rodgers used that cadence as a weapon, better than a lot of people. He also got to sit there and learn for 3 years from Brett Favre doing it, where Caleb was thrown in the fire last year. And it's one of these things in football. It sounds so easy, and it's just not. It's just not easy. It can be confusing, and all 11 guys on the field need to be on the same page. And when they get there, it's a weapon because the defense has no idea when you're snapping the ball.
It's a tough one, right, Hoge? I mean, because I want to ask you, like, where you said at the beginning, like, it's Caleb's time now. It's time to raise the standard here. And so I essentially just want to ask you, do you think it's going to happen? Like, it may not happen week 1. Maybe it takes to week 4, week 8, but everything you've heard, everything you're hearing through Caleb and Ben, and everything we saw through training camp, do you believe that this will happen?
I do. I just think it's not going to be linear, and I think that that's okay. But I do think that when the season is over, regardless of how many games are won, that we will be able to say that Caleb Williams has taken a significant step forward. That's not to say that, we're going to be crowning him an MVP favorite a year from now, or anything like that. But it's not off the table either. And that's hopefully the conversations that we're talking about next offseason. But maybe it's too much trust in Ben Johnson, but there's a lot of reasons on paper why this should work. And it would just really still be a giant upset if it doesn't. I've said this a million times. I'm going to keep saying it. Caleb Williams' floor was last year. I don't see how it could be worse than that. There's just really no logical reason why it would be worse, and it wasn't that bad for a rookie. See, he set the rookie record for Bears passing yards. So it's got to be better than that. I think it will be better than that. And I think it'll be a step in the right direction, even if, as Ben said in that clip we played earlier, there will be bumps in the road, of course.
The Bears placed 28th in the NFL last year in scoring points. If they finish 28th again this year, we'll fold the podcast. I just don't think we can handle it at that point. I couldn't. Maybe you definitely would leave. And without you, we'd be nothing. So we'd have to fold the podcast.
I don't know what you just said, but.
You're asking because you started that with it wasn't that bad, and it wasn't. 3,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Those numbers on its own are certainly more than passable for a rookie quarterback. On the other hand, we all watched it, and until the fourth quarter in most games, it didn't look good. He just, in the moment when they really had to have it, you saw it, which I think excites me the most about where he can go, because There was a clutch factor to Caleb last year that was awesome to see. And then you look at the actual points that they scored, and they were in the bottom 5 of the NFL. I refuse to believe that can be anywhere close to that bad this year, in year 2 with Ben Johnson. And I love what Ben said today as far as we're going to figure out what he can do and what he can't do, and then I'm going to game plan around it. And I would trust his ability to game plan around that a zillion times more than what was here last year. Hoge, are you sticking around for Jaquan Brisker, or do you got to go?
No, I don't have to go. Do we have to? If we have to break right now?
Well,
we do.
You have 1 minute to have a great thought. Do you have a 1 minute great thought?
Yeah, I'll just leave you guys with this, and then you guys can play Brisker on your own, and we still got the whiteboard segment coming up too. Defensively, I mean, we heard from Jaquan Brisker. Great sign. You're going to hear from him here. So, he's practicing. He seems like he's good to go. That is great news. The area I'm still wondering about, guys, though, is TJ Edwards at linebacker, and do they have him in this game? It's kind of been all the talk about Jalen Johnson. We haven't probably talked enough about TJ Edwards, who got hurt last week, and which I reported at the time. And if he's not ready to go, I think that creates a little bit of debate over who. I mean, is that Ruben Hippolyte coming in and playing more? And is he your better option than Noah Sewell playing weak side linebacker? Because he's got a little bit more speed, and then keeping Noah where he has been in camp at Sam and kind of that third linebacker. Some things to discuss there. I don't necessarily know the option, the correct answer, but that's another area where the Bears might be significantly thinned out on Monday night.
He's got to get healthy. I can't have that. We need TJ out there. Did you get a haircut on your way out? Because it looks real fresh and bold and high and tight and just fantastic.
I did. I don't want to freak it. So when you guys see this whiteboard segment coming up a little bit later in the show, which we're debuting, don't be weirded out by the fact that my hair is going to grow between this segment and the next segment. Because in between when that was filmed and now I'm on with you live, there was a haircut situation. My guy Marcus at Lifetime taking care of me today. So, yeah.
I mean, you look really, really ready for the season. All right. See you later.
Week 1, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. All right. There goes Adam Hoge at Halas Hall. We'll hear from Jaquan Brisker in 2 minutes. Get ready for epic family fun Monster Jam. It's coming to Rosemont. This is the world's most popular Monster Jam trucks, and you can see them at Allstate Arena September 12th to the 14th. Come on in. Nonstop excitement. The gravity-defying stunts, heart-pounding races, the big air. You're going to see it all. The world's best drivers are tearing it up on the dirt. 3 competitions going on. We got racing, 2-wheel skills, and then everyone's favorite, that would be where Monster Jam trucks defy the laws of physics and do the impossible. It's the freestyle. You got to be there for it. Check it out. Experience it live September 12th to the 14th. And we've got the ultimate day of family fun at Allstate Arena. Get on out there. And how do you do it? Tickets are on sale right now at monsterjam.com. Get ready to be amazed at the massive Monster Jam trucks. Kids are going to love it. You're going to love it. World champion drivers taking over Rosemont. Tickets on sale now at www.monsterjam.com. And shout out to our friends at Monarch Money. Feel organized and confident in your finances. Yeah, none of us do that, but you can when you use our friends at Monarch Money. It's the all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together. Believe me, things get a lot easier. Everybody in your family is going to be a little happier when you use Monarch Money. It's built for people with busy lives. It's going to help you not leave money on the table. And it's not just another financial app. It's a tool that the real professionals and experts actually love. Best budgeting app 2025 by the Wall Street Journal. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Take care of your finances. It's important. You'll sleep better at night. Use the code CHGO at monarchmoney.com. Monarchmoney.com. Put that in your browser for half off your first year. 50% off, once again, your first year at monarchmoney.com with the code CHGO. Take care of those finances. Use our friends at Monarch Money. All right. Good job by the Hoger out there. I thought whoever just put in the chat Hoge Hawk, I liked it. It was like a Hoge Hawk. It's a little Mohawky. Hoge Hockey. What do you think?
He's kind of got like I was going to say it to him, but I didn't want to go too crazy with it, but He's kind of got like there's this bad guy in the show Doug. You know Doug Funny?
No, but I'm
course
sure
you
I
don't.
should. I watched.
And the bad guy in Doug Funny, I'll pull it up. He kind of looks like him.
Do you know who Snuffleupagus is?
Yeah, I'm Snuffleupagus.
That's correct. You got a little Snuffleupagus too.
I am Snuffleupagus.
Look at that thing. All right, back on track. Let's get back to the locker room, and let's hear from hopefully a guy who's going to stay healthy this year. We all have our fingers crossed for him. There's nobody that does not appreciate the energy that Jaquan Brisker brings. We caught up with him in the locker room today, so let's hear from number 9.
Feel, playing with the fans and things like that.
Jaquan, what's the significance of being on the Monday night stage and being the game in week 1?
I think it's huge. I think it's huge for us, especially coming back in Soldier Field, get the divisional opponent, which is very big. And obviously, this is our first time playing together in a while, and first time coaches too. So it's gonna be exciting.
Kevin Byer talked about yesterday, talking about forcing a guy making his first start to try to make like one of those like rookie-like mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
How do you go about doing that?
Yeah, just playing our type of defense. Don't do too much. Don't be Superman. Just playing our defense, and eventually he will force one, whether it's in the air or it's on the ground. I know it's going to come out at some point, and that's the type of defense we have, and I'm confident in what DA is going to call. So
when DA talks about it's not what you play, it's how you play it.
Yeah.
How do you interpret that message?
Yeah, just doing our job. Just make sure we playing, our jobs at 1,000%. Just make sure we're making plays and we're not, doing too much out of the framework. And like you said, it's how we play it. So we got to play it aggressive, we got to play it physical, and we got to play it fast.
Obviously, Jalen's working hard to get back. How much are you looking forward to the chance to get this whole secondary back together?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely want to see one back for sure. We've been working all summer, and we work. So I know he's itching to get back. I'm itching to see him get back because we left out with a good note during the summer. So I know what the fall's going to come. I already seen him put in the body of work.
I know you've just already played some preseason games, but what's it going to be like for you to be back out there on the field after all that time you missed last year?
I mean, it's a game. I missed so many preseason games or whatever, and I came back and still dominated. So I'm looking to do the same thing and show I'm the best. So it's not going to be anything. It's football. I've been playing since I was 4 or 3 years old. So that shit is over with. I'm back.
All right,
Thanks for coming.
I think he sort of missed the point of that question. I don't think he was being challenged on his play level, more so just the excitement of getting to be back out there after what was a really trying year for him, getting concussed, I forget, early in the season and then missing the rest of the year. Coaching change, and it was, if we remember going back on that, he had some interesting moments on Twitter that just seemed like he was having a hard time with it. Anyway, I'm rooting for Jaquan. I hope he plays big on Monday, but more importantly that he is able to stay healthy this season. For him, even more so than the Bears.
Yeah, somebody asked him on Twitter if he was good, like a few days ago. I think it was on like Monday on the holiday. He was like, yeah, he confirmed he was good back then. So Bears Twitter was on top of it.
Yeah. It was interesting what he said in that clip, which was similar to what Caleb said, which I think is a message that's clearly coming from Ben and the coaching staff, which is you don't need to be Superman. You don't need to be over the top. You just need to do your job. One of Caleb's first comments today was that, I don't have to make any hero plays. I just got to get the ball out and run the offense. And that's basically what Brisker's saying right there, too, for the defense. So it seems to me that that's a message that's being permeated throughout the locker room. If you all do your job and follow the script that we are putting out there, there is enough talent in this room that we can win football games starting with Monday night against Minnesota. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And it goes without saying, but Brisker's health to this team is of the utmost importance. He is a leader on this defense when he's on the field, and you saw that throughout training camp. You saw that in both joint practices. He had an interception in both joint practices against Tua and the Dolphins, and then one against Josh Allen and the Bills. And when he's out there, their defense is elevated. And when you saw Brisker and Andrew Billings, for that matter, go out last year, you saw that defense go from one of the best in football to one of the worst. Like the disparity was vast.
Let me elevate your job title for just a second and make you the Bears head coach for 38 seconds. This is it. 38 seconds. You're the Bears head coach.
Okay.
Just you're talking about how they need him.
Go get me a water.
They need him in the depth of the whole thing. They need Jalen Johnson too to have an incredible year being their top cornerback. His job on Monday night is going to be, if he can get through the week and be healthy, is to cover Justin Jefferson, the top receiver in the NFL, after not playing for 2 months. Go follow him around all night long with his conditioning not where it would normally be. Are you doing that on week 1, coach, or are you going to let him sort of ease his way in? Maybe I'm opening in my own mind now. Like maybe you play him some, but not the full.
Well, you remember too. I mean, Justin Jefferson didn't have a training camp either. He had a hamstring injury, so he didn't play in any preseason games or training camp. He has been back a little sooner. Obviously, he's been practicing for the last week and a half, 2 weeks, and Jalen is just getting back. So there is a little bit different of a ramp-up period, but it'll be interesting to see the pitch count both of them are on. That being said, whatever Jalen says, honestly, you got to trust your player.
Trust your player?
Yeah. I mean, he's a veteran that's been, and you got to ask him directly, like, you want this job for tonight, or should we? Well,
he's not going to say no.
If he doesn't say no, then you let it roll.
So, okay, head coach, you're putting him out there. I like it. All right, we have a new segment that's debuting, and it's called the Adam Hoge Whiteboard. I think we need to up the ante on what the name of this thing is, but we'll just call it the Hoge Whiteboard because that's what it is. It's the Hoge Whiteboard. You want to watch it, bottom line. So stick around. We'll do it in 2 minutes. But first, it's time to talk about my favorite thing, which is living in Cook County. And my least favorite thing about that is the taxes that you pay in Cook County. But I love our friends at Ownwell who are going to help you take those taxes down. Listen, it is as easy as it can possibly be. Like, how do I get my taxes lowered? Oh, I just use Ownwell. And, do I have to pay them up front? No, you don't. Ownwell has a 25% contingent fee, meaning you're only going to pay if your property taxes are reduced. What's the chance of that? The chances are really good. 86% of Ownwell's customers receive a reduction. How sweet is that? And by the way, how much? It's not $5. It's $1,102 on average. That is sweet. Save money on your Cook County property taxes with Ownwell. Sign up in less than 3 minutes and appeal today at ownwell.com/cook. That's OWNWELL.com/cook. Listen to Carm. Do it. You'll be happy if you're living in Cook County. And listen, shout out to our friends, as per always, at Game Time. Look, if you're trying to go to college football this weekend, maybe you're coming out Friday night, Evanston, Little Northwestern looking for their first win against Western Illinois. No better place to get your college football tickets than with Game Time. Game Time gives you all the tools up front. The fees are included. You can do zone deals. You're willing to sit in the end zone. You're good with that. You could save even more. You just choose a section. They'll pick the seats for you. You get extra discount right there. That is sweet. Lowest price guarantee. You get the seat views and the Game Time ticket coverage, which is perfect. Your purchase covered. No matter what happens, Game Time has you. And yes, you can take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Game Time. Download that Game Time app, create an account, use the code CHGO, $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, create that account, spell it out, CHGO. All right. I've never been more excited.
I like this, Joe C in the chat. The Whiteboard of Wisdom.
The Whiteboard of Wisdom from Joe. That's exactly right.
See, I think it should be that he's got me thinking we should do like a contest for this because I'm going to submit whiteboard wasted.
Okay.
White boy, because they call it white boy wasted. Like white boy wasted is like crazy wasted. Whiteboard wasted.
You're really on fire today. Your ability to just be in the thick of the culture of society is it's overflowing. What did you say Hoge's look was? What'd you call him?
We'll get to that later.
We're going to do that later?
Dial up the whiteboard.
You sure you don't want to do that ahead of Whiteboard Wasted? Because it kind of is, I think, perfectly on time, but we can wait. All right. Whiteboard Wisdom, Whiteboard
it's white
Wasted.
Girl Wasted. Whatever, Steve. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Whiteboard of Wisdom Hoge, now, right now, you are here for history. Let's hear it. What has he got? I'm very, very, very excited.
All right, let's literally whiteboard the Minnesota Vikings, the Bears' Week 1 opponent. Vikings are a 1.5-point favorite at Soldier Field in a big spot for J.J. McCarthy in his first ever NFL start on the road. Some people are surprised the Vikings are favored. Based on last year's results, though, probably makes sense. So it's a big spot on Monday Night Football. Before we get into some of the specifics, we talk big picture with the Minnesota Vikings, what they did in the offseason. $267 million spent in free agency. That was second in the NFL. And a theme we'll be watching throughout the NFC North this entire season. Minnesota, Chicago, Detroit all have 3 new starters on the interior of their offensive line. All 3 teams. The Lions, they moved one guy over, Graham Glasgow, to center, but it's still 3 new guys starting in different positions. Minnesota, regression candidate possibly. Why? Well, most people are going to point to the fact that they were 9-1 in one-score games last season, and they were also first in takeaways. Forgot to write that in there. That's hard to replicate from one season to the next, to go 9-1 in one-score games, and also takeaways tend to dip from year to year, change and fluctuate because there's turnover luck. Not to say they can't do it again, but chances are that's going to be hard to replicate. So a lot of people think the Vikings are a regression candidate. One advantage they have, and the Bears have this too, being with a rookie, well, both of them are second-year quarterbacks, but on a rookie contract, Vikings 30th in quarterback spending. That allows you to go out and spend $267 million in free agency. And they spent money on the trenches. Now, the only thing is you look at their additions, Jonathan Allen, Javon Hargrave, Will Fries, Ryan Kelly. These are familiar names, but 3 of those guys are over 30 years old. Typically, spending that much money on guys over 30 usually doesn't work. Not to say it can't for the Vikings, but usually that does not work out. Look at the coaching staff. Kevin O'Connell going into year 4. He was in the same hiring cycle as Matt Eberflus. Obviously, it's worked out a lot better for the Vikings. 34-17. Has not won a playoff game, though. Brian Flores in his 3rd year as defensive coordinator, and he has caused a lot of problems for the Bears. This is one of the more interesting stats you're going to find, I think, in Week 1. Flores 3-1 against the Bears in 4 opportunities, only allowing 16 points per game. And really, in 3 of those outings, the Vikings only allowed 12 points per game. There was the one comeback last year that kind of inflated that number. But when he goes up against the Lions, which is obviously relevant because of Ben Johnson, 0-4, never beat Ben Johnson head-to-head when it was Lions versus Vikings, and was giving up nearly double the amount of points per game, 30.5. So obviously Ben Johnson doesn't have the same players, but you're going to think in this matchup it's probably not going to be as bad anymore as only scoring about 12 points per game. And realistically, though, it's not like the Bears are going to be able to score 30. Somewhere in the middle would make sense. Matt Daniels is a special teams coach for the Vikings going into his 4th year. He's been with Kevin O'Connell the entire time. They were bad in the return game last year. Basically no return game. Near the bottom of the league in both punt return and kick return. They drafted Ty Felton out of Maryland to hopefully fix that. Look at our marquee matchup, though. We're going to talk about it. Brian Flores versus Ben Johnson, the Bears offense versus the Minnesota defense. Drawing this up in 11 personnel, even though we think the Bears are going to use plenty of 12. Looking at the Vikings defense, somewhat surprisingly a couple weeks ago, they traded their nose tackle Harrison Phillips to the New York Jets. So obviously sort of double downing on the additions they made on the trenches, but that move did surprise me a little bit. Very exotic defense. You probably know this at this point. Brian Flores, he is going to try to create numbers games, showing that he's going to maybe rush 8, then drop everybody back in coverage, or bring the house with cover 0 on the back end. But what's interesting about what Brian Flores does, a lot of times you think blitz is, then you're going to play man defense. He's not afraid to play zone while blitzing. That leaves some, what I would call unsound coverages on the back end to exploit if you can block it up, protect the right way. Now, one thing that Ben Johnson's done so well against Brian Flores, and Nate Tice broke this down really well on the Hoge Johns podcast last week. Really what Brian Flores wants to do is create extra unused blockers. So you're showing you're going to send everybody, you bring in extra blockers, and then you back up, and you might have 2 guys standing back here blocking nobody, and only 2 guys running routes into all of this nonsense. That is what Brian Flores has been so good at. What Ben Johnson's been good at is avoiding that and having things blocked up correctly. So that's why when you talk about Drew Dahlman coming in at center, Caleb Williams taking the next step under Ben Johnson's coaching, what they figure out pre-snap and what they recognize in this football game is going to be so huge to create those mismatches. Because we start to talk about some of these matchups that the Bears have in this game. I mean, I don't have to highlight this too much, but with the Bears left tackle situation, Jonathan Grenard going up against Braxton Jones is concerning. There's no doubt about it. However, in the Bears' advantages, DJ Moore against Okuda, Isaiah Rodgers going up against Rome Odunze, Olamide Zaccheaus with the training camp that he just had. The Bears should have opportunities to be open in the secondary if everything's blocked up correctly. That's a big if, obviously, with Caleb Williams recognizing what he's seen. But what I find interesting about this defense is as much as we think of them blitzing, they were still only 15th overall in actual pressure rate last season. So it's not like they're always getting home. But what Brian Flores is so good is at creating confusion. And so the more Ben Johnson can help Caleb Williams limit that confusion, much like he was able to do with Jared Goff in Detroit, that, to me, is going to be what decides this football game, most likely on Monday night. Now, as we move to the other side of the ball, Vikings offense versus the Bears defense. The Vikings last year, what's interesting, they only lost to 2 teams. If you include the playoffs, they went 14-4, but they lost twice to the Lions, they lost twice to the Rams. And they allowed 9 sacks in that playoff game to the Rams. So they're hoping that their beefed up interior, which includes spending money on Ryan Kelly and Will Fries from the Colts, and then drafting Donovan Jackson in the first round, 24th overall, putting him in at left guard, is going to really help them on their offensive line because they quite frankly need it. Now, what I find interesting is this might surprise you. Under Kevin O'Connell, since he got there, the Vikings are actually 27th in the league in rushing attempts. They're only 29th in yards per carry. This has been a passing offense. As much as we think about how great the offense has been, and it has been, they really have not been that good at running the football. So that is what's interesting to me because J.J. McCarthy is a very different quarterback than Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold last year threw for 4,300 yards, 35 touchdowns. He led the league in deep ball. So they were a deep ball team. When I think of J.J. McCarthy, that's not what I think about. So there is going to be a pretty significant offensive adjustment that is needed here with the Vikings this season to have success for J.J. McCarthy, and that involves running the football. So there's some big ifs on this side as well. Look at Sam Darnold. He actually led the league in turnover-worthy plays last season, but only threw 12 interceptions. So he got away with a lot. I think J.J. McCarthy's probably going to do a better job of limiting those turnover-worthy plays because he doesn't really turn it over a whole lot. At least that's what I expect. But in order to do that, they're going to have to run the football better than they have. So they also went out and they signed Jordan Mason in the offseason to help Aaron Jones. There's reason for optimism here with the Vikings. But a lot of it, just like on this side of the ball with Caleb Williams, is going to fall on the shoulders of J.J. McCarthy. In terms of the key matchups here, this is the big one, right? How healthy is Jalen Johnson going up against Justin Jefferson? Johnson said yesterday that if the game was yesterday, he probably wouldn't have been able to play. And if that's the case, I find it hard to believe that he's going to be able to shadow Justin Jefferson across the field in this matchup. Otherwise, they went out and they traded for Adam Thielen. He's caused the Bears plenty of problems in the past. So if Jalen Johnson's not able to go and Deshaun Wright out there with Tyreek Stevenson, that could be a big test for the Bears. But otherwise, the depth at wide receiver for this Vikings team is still not that good. So here's your whiteboard look at the Minnesota Vikings. Shout out to my wife, Krista, who did a great job filming this.
I mean, big time shout out to Krista. The zoom ins. Yeah. Whiteboard
wasted.
Whiteboard wasted.
What no, somebody said Whiteboard Wednesdays.
Whiteboard Wednesdays, Whiteboard Wisdom. Whiteboard.
I like Whiteboard wasted.
Yeah. All right, I got a couple things that I want to take out of that. But we are saying goodbye to our TV viewers for a second here as we moved into overtime. Become a diehard.
You made this so hard on me. This is 40 seconds early.
Oh, I did? And I did that a little bit early, but it's on brand for the show. Thank you, everybody. Come on over to YouTube, and if for audio listeners, you don't need to do anything. So, anyway, great job by Hoge. It made me, we're looking at the matchups. I mean, I just got super basic and was like, look, let me remind myself what Caleb did against the Vikings last year. Do you remember how good he was against the Vikings last year? Because he was excellent against the Vikings.
Well, the first game at Soldier Field, he led them to a comeback that got him into overtime, and he played statistically really well. And then the second game was a little more of a struggle. But overall, the cumulative of the scores or the stats, he had a nice year.
Yeah. Well, in game one, which we'll underline a little bit more right now because we are leading up to week one of the season, as I've noticed by my Twitter mentions, nobody wants any negativity or any calm analysis regardless, period. But he threw the second most passes that he threw all year in the Vikings game. The first one, 47 of them. Most he threw in the year was 52 again in the loss to the Colts, which was a game we can all forget. But anyways, he was 32 of 47. He had the second most yards that he had in the game at 340. He threw 2 touchdowns. He was not picked off. He was sacked 3 times in the game, and led him back, pushed it in overtime. It was a hell of a performance. In the 30,
and I always find it funny. Like, you can say, "Oh, they're garbage time stats." Not when you take the team to overtime.
No,
you don't get to declare it garbage time when the Bears tied the game and pushed Minnesota to overtime.
Right. What sucked about that game is that they got it in overtime. They got the football first, and they went 3 and out, and then ended up losing the game. So when he actually had a chance to go win the game, he wasn't able to do it.
Well,
and that's unfair, by the way, just to put it on him. But
but that highlights what the Bears, what they're capable of, and how much they needed to get better at. Because they spent 3 quarters screwing around in that game. Yeah. They spent every game not scoring on their first drives, and then they'd rally and get a lot of their points at the end. A lot of however you want to define it, backyard football, whatever. But Caleb Williams can make plays, and to your point earlier about, and we were talking to Hoge about what his potential can be. It's about he can do all the things that Jared Goff can't do. But in order for Caleb Williams to reach top 5 quarterback in the league stratosphere, he's going to have to learn how to do the things that Jared Goff does great. And that's going to be the way that Ben Johnson can then operate his full playbook. And once he can do that, then you add all this other stuff that Caleb Williams has done here throughout his college career and what he did last year and being able to make plays on his own. That's going to be sky's the limit for Ben Johnson's
100%.
offense.
Listen, if the full playbook gets in this year, that's an incredible sign for the Bears and an incredible job by Caleb digesting everything. The second game, which wasn't as great, he still was 18 of 31. The Bears got blown out 30-12, but that was also a really unfair game for Caleb because that's when Braxton Jones was out, Karan Amagaji was in. That wasn't. We don't need to go back and watch the film to remember that was not great. So, at any rate, it'll be a one little side bit of Monday night, just going back and see. Well, last year against the Vikings, he did this, and now in his first year with Ben in Week 1, digesting a whole new offense. Let's see if he can actually top what the first game. That would be incredible if he did 340 plus yards, and hopefully the Bears. I don't think they will need him to do that if the defense plays the way it should, and I think they should have some success shutting down JJ. I would hope.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the keys to the game. We'll get to it here later in the season, or later in this week, I should say. But those are certainly the keys to this game, man. You got to force JJ McCarthy into a couple turnovers here, and you got to have Caleb Williams play turnover free. I think that's ultimately what it's going to come down to in its most simplistic form is who wins the turnover battle between those two quarterbacks.
Yeah. We've got some really strong reviews coming in, by the way, for the show today and Hoge's Whiteboard segment. There is one viewer that normally does not sit still to watch the game like she did today as much as possible, but we actually have video of someone enjoying the show. Or not video, but just a camera on site, and here she is. Look at that. Just absolutely dialed in today.
Look at dog a bed that
We got to get
Fitz.
Well, so she's on a play date, and
so that's not. She's commandeered this bed.
Yeah, no, Poppy is on a play date right now, but she wanted to watch the show, so they set her up, and there you go. She figured it out. Put her legs on over, and she's good. Okay. She loved the whiteboard. It's a great job by Poppy.
Okay.
And and the outstanding Lauren Dayton. Also, what did you call Hoge's haircut? Who did you compare him to?
So this is the bad guy in the show. When we were growing up, there was two cartoon shows. Correct. I'm setting it up.
Okay.
There's two shows growing up that a lot of us from my generation watched. And one was Rugrats, and the other was Doug. They were on Nickelodeon.
Okay.
And so Doug Funny, this isn't Doug Funny when you're about to see, but Doug, there was a bad guy in the show Doug. And I believe his name was Rodney. And this is like Hoge's haircut kind of reminded me of that. And as we pulled it up,
I mean, I don't want to say twins, but I kind of think that's twins. Is that not twins? I mean,
Roger, that was his name. Roger, not Rodney. Roger, that's right.
I mean, that's unbelievable. That dude's iconic. Hoge's iconic. Roger, the Adam, the Hoge, the iconic.
Roger Clouts.
Yeah.
Thank you, chat.
That's amazing. And I think, by the way, everybody.
I didn't want to bring it up when he was on because it was like the chances he knows what I'm talking about, and he was just going to give me that resting Hoge face. So instead, we just put it on visual display. Thank you to Steven.
Well, that's a great job by you and Steven, and thank you for bringing us all into it. And speaking of resting Hoge face, which I think you might have to bring up here, I think this is the look of all NFL fans when they just found out that the NFL Red Zone is now going to have commercials this year, which got announced yesterday on the McAfee show over at ESPN because, the Red Zone moving channels and whatnot. Mm-hmm. No more 7 hours of straight, football watching, buddy.
Oh, boy.
Are you a big Red Zone guy?
I'm not a Red Zone
you're
guy.
Not.
I'm not a Red Zone guy. Even before what we did here. Now, the way we watch games here, we have two TVs in our Sunnyside Lounge, and on one side, we'll have the main game, and then the second TV typically will have the Bears game also on that, but delayed. So then, as each play goes, we can see the on the second TV the last play back. But sometimes we'll throw the Red Zone on there. But I don't personally like it because the Red Zone feed will sometimes get ahead of the local feed of other TVs. So for me, if I was watching at my house, I'm gonna have a 5 TV setup going on. I don't need the Red Zone because my setup is the Red Zone.
You are the Red Zone.
Yeah, where you're watching all the games in full. So I'm not a big Red Zone guy at all. I think it spoils it. But I know there's a lot of people that love it.
I love it. I think Scott Hansen does a phenomenal job. It's, I basically know that I could do every single job in the history of media, but I don't think I could do that job. That is a lot going on.
I think this is great for Hansen, just because the guy doesn't even get a pee break throughout those 7 hours.
Yeah, how does that work?
I don't know how it works, but now he has 2 minutes. Maybe he can make it happen.
They must have. That is interesting, because no man could do that, or woman, or animal. How did he do that?
I don't know. What do you want, Jim?
Jim Cook, our outstanding leader of men's sales guys, just staring at the show, which makes it think that he wants something.
What do you
He
want?
just wants to watch the show.
What do you want, bro?
Stay focused.
Yeah, sales guy Jim loves the ads in Red Zone. Yeah,
I had it in front. He
took a sip earlier.
I did an unbelievable job of stopping the show to have RC on here, buddy. The most delicious.
Jim will be out at the tailgate, right? You're gonna be out at the tailgate.
My life is a million times. My life is a million times tastier and better now that RC is sponsoring this fine program. So thank you to our friends at RC Cola.
Absolutely.
Straight delicious.
Great job.
1905, the year I was born.
Come out to the tailgate. You can meet Jim. He's great. Die hard.
Probably need better reasons to come to the tailgate than that. No offense, Jim, but
Wow.
But hey, you can meet Jim at. You come like for the first 30 minutes of the tailgate,
Yeah, but
and you leave.
Monday will be different because it's later in the day. So
You gotta stay all. You're a full tailgate all year this year, buddy.
No, he's not.
No,
No, he's not.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right, whatever. That's fine.
Selfless
So come,
Jim.
come
Selfless.
early. Jim will be signing autographs, and you can drink some RC, which is a sweet thing. All right. I think we got to go here, Gregory. You have anything that we didn't hit today, Steven? Did I mess anything up today? Was that perfect?
You were perfect as always, Carm.
Thank you.
One reminder, we are raising money, donations for Big Brothers Big Sisters. We did not get any donations yet today. There's still time before we wrap the show, or at any point, really.
Yep, and we got a bunch yesterday, so thank you to everyone who threw in.
Somebody donate right now, or Mark's going to start singing, and we won't end this stream.
You know, I was thinking about some new tunes that are going to come out this year.
See what's happening?
In my.
This is because of you.
Yeah, no. But I'm going to hold out. Block A, you were incredible today. Pizzatola, another average performance by you. Don Burr, I woke up today thinking about the fact that the Lions have never won a Super Bowl. That's so pathetic. You too, Chim. I know
we mentioned it earlier here in the show, but do want to give a shout out to our producer, Steven, who has officially been promoted here at CHGO Sports as head of production. So he wears a lot of hats here. He doesn't just produce Bears, but he is the overseer of all production here at CHGO Sports. It's a big job to have, and Steven works as hard as anybody I've ever been around. He's a guy that will literally wake up at 2 a.m. and help you with something if you need it. In a pinch. Last night he was producing the Cubs show. Cubs got a big win. Cubs starting to, string some wins together here. And there Steven was, after doing a noon show, producing Cubs last night, and that's just
we got it.
No. Keep going. Keep going.
The dude,
I appreciate it. Thank you.
The
Thank
dude
you.
He's relentless. He is a relentless worker.
The dude has no life. He is the.
Hey, look, your mic went out again twice in one show.
Listen, I've worked in this business for a long time, and I've had no life, and I know it. But even my work overnights, do this, do that, all of it. I don't know if I can top the work ethic that you've been throwing out there every single day. So for real, if we're gonna go down the actual heartfelt thing,
he does have a life outside of
he plays
producing
golf 3 days a year.
It's
3 days a year
trying to break
off.
100.
I break 100.
All right, listen. We would not be half the show that we that we do each day without the incredible work of Steven, who is a huge MVP, and he in the history of deserved promotions. Steven,
it is funny too that we're talking about this well-deserved promotion, and it certainly is. Because today wasn't a fair representation.
No, it was not. It was not. There was a lot going on behind the scenes.
It was.
Hoge's gonna have us doing 50 push-ups each tomorrow. It's gonna be fun.
I already texted Hoge apologizing. I'm so sorry. There was a whole situation.
All right, we are back tomorrow. Hoge's back at Halas again, correct? And we have both.
Hoge is in studio tomorrow.
Oh, Hoge's in studio. There is no because it's
and Hoge tomorrow. Then
that's right.
Friday. You and Hoge with John's joining from Halas because everything's pushed up. So tomorrow we get an injury report. That's going to be tomorrow. Obviously, week 1 of the NFL season starts tomorrow. Gary Ross pointing out the Bears have an off day tomorrow.
Bears are off tomorrow.
Right. So Hoge's in studio with me and you.
I got it. My bad.
Your awesome segment that you had teed up a few days ago, I think we'll introduce tomorrow.
Great. And we're 1 o'clock again tomorrow.
Yeah.
1 o'clock all week. So let's do that. Hey, thank you to everybody who supported today. You're all awesome. Darth Maul, you were incredible today. Scroll up just a little bit here for me because I can see it because I wanted to shout somebody. Oh, yeah, my guy Donnie. Donnie, I sleep well at night because of you. Know that. And everybody who's coming at me today on Twitter.
You didn't have to pull that up, Steven.
No, you did. Donnie's the man. Donnie's the greatest. Donnie's my hero. Everybody's coming at me today on Twitter. Just know that I love you, and you will not dent me, even though it bugged me for at least 38 seconds today. It was a great day for you, though. I mean, they really.
You told me to.
I did.
You said, let's make this clip.
Because it was a great point. They really hate me today. Just raising the bar for the Bears players, just wanting more from our highest paid guys. Y'all didn't like it. Whatever. It was a great point by me, as per always.
We look forward to many more great points made by you this season.
That will be unappreciated, but that's okay. That is okay. That is my role, and I will continue to do it.
I always say genius isn't always appreciated in its time.
I am Picasso. There's no doubt about it. All right. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.